Welcome back, folks, to a brand new video.
We're back again in the Netherlands for part 2. Plenty more choices to see in this country, so if you've never been before, here are 10 beautiful places to visit in the Netherlands. And before you even watch this video, don't forget to hit that like button because it is free! Number 1. Maastricht. A perfect city to go if you loved Amsterdam, but don't want to get sucked into the world that is just Amsterdam and that's it. Best known for its dynamic city square, it's also home to a wonderful church, a cathedral, and the old fortifications, which are huge draws for visitors right here. Even many annual festivals take place right at the city square, with local favourites arriving in autumn or winter. Plenty of cafes and hip bars, and of course the interesting galleries. And even if you want to get your caffeine fix, there's a place where you can browse books, and it's also a former church that's now used as a bookstore with a coffee shop inside. Number 2. Middlebug. Capital city of the province of Zeeland in the Netherlands, and is one of the places that you must visit if you want to see the beauty of the country. This city dates back to the 9th century, and right in the heart is the glamorous building, the City Hall. If you're able to go on a tour, you might as well go to the mighty Abbey. And from there, you can scale the 207 steps of the Abbey Tower, and you will be rewarded with a fantastic view of the city. Of course, later on you can stroll around, taking in the atmosphere and sampling local life and its delicacies. With at least 1,200 landmark buildings, many of which have been incredibly renovated, Middlebug is a city with plenty to see for everyone. Next up is Leewarden. The city of Leewarden is a city with an exciting history and a vibrant future. It's the capital of the province of Friesland and is located in the northern part of the country. Perhaps the most famous, or rather infamous, individual to come from Leewarden was the dancer turned spy Mata Hari, who was later executed by the firing squad in France on charges of espionage for Germany. It's a town filled with ancient monuments and beautiful architecture, and is a great place for a quiet and interesting holiday. One thing you should definitely do is check out the Leaning Tower of Leewarden. You can climb the 183 steps to enjoy the view of the city from the top. Number 4. Dordrecht. One of the oldest cities in the Netherlands, and one with an interesting past. A stroll around the historic centre is an absolute must, and a delightful one. It's perfect as a day trip, avoiding the crowds of Amsterdam, but you can take the day trip from either Rotterdam, The Hague, Breda, or even Delft. A city with beautiful canals, picturesque warehouses, and stunning views. It's like you step back in time, but it's also a city that's often overlooked. The island's key location along 5 rivers enabled it to grow as a commercial successful and port city. Although part of it was destroyed during World War II, however, the city remains one of the most picturesque. So if you're a fan of Venice and you love waterways and canals, then this is the perfect city for your next trip. Number 5. Breda, a city that's located in one of the provinces that's not often visited by tourists. Named the Pearl of South Breda, dates back to around 1125 and was nothing more than a small village at that time. Now, why would you want to visit? Well, when you wander through Breda, you will discover courtyards, beautiful streets, and even a castle. But for me, one of the things you have to do in Breda is to visit the Burghenhof and, of course, Breda Castle. Number 5. Amsterdam. One of Europe's most popular tourist destinations. Amsterdam is widely known for its party atmosphere and its cannabis practice. This city offers so much more for all travellers, such as its beautiful canals, the historical buildings, world-class museums, and of course famous attractions like the Anne Frank House. It's quite easy to get around, especially with public buses, trams, metro lines, and of course the bicycles. I think it's a great weekend city break if you have the chance to visit. The highlights for me are of course the canal system. Sightseeing for me in this city is probably one of the best because you never know what you're going to come and see. Now, I think Amsterdam is a great city break over the weekend because you can cram in a lot of activities regardless of what you're interested in. It always has something there for you to do. Number 6. Zwolle. Some of the most beautiful places in the Netherlands are the Hansa towns. These century-old towns and cities were part of the Hanseatic League, which was the commercial and defensive confederation of market towns and the merchant guilds in northwestern and central Europe. Zwolle used to be one of them, and it's a surprising city. From incredible buildings to sumptuous regional food. To the most special museums to the calming atmosphere. So one of the things that you can do in Zwolle is visiting the Museum die Fondatie. This museum is a museum of fine arts and has a very interesting building that you have to admire. Number 7. Rotterdam. They say Rotterdam is a bit like Amsterdam's little sister, being the second biggest city in the Netherlands. It makes for a perfect day trip from the capital. While a large part of the city was destroyed during the Second World War, Rotterdam was rebuilt into a hub for modern architecture. I'd say spending 24 hours in Rotterdam gives you more than enough time to see some of the main highlights, such as the observation tower, where you can even sleep inside. But of course, make sure to stop by the cube houses. They can only be found in Rotterdam and Helmond. Because of their unique design, they attract quite a bit of attention. Number 8. Den Bosch. Another, I guess, so-called lesser-known city in the Netherlands, but worth a visit. It has a bit of everything. Historic streets, a gorgeous cathedral, along with the iconic Dutch canals. Now there is a lot of things to do in Den Bosch, such as the St. Jan's Cathedral, which is one of the most beautiful of its kind in the country. You can enter for free, and it's even possible to climb the 43-meter high tower for a view of the city. Den Bosch has wonderful canals. Maybe not as famous as those in Amsterdam, but still a lot of fun to explore by boat. Number 9. Leiden. A mid-sized city located in the Netherlands, close to the coast and south of Amsterdam. The city is home to several large universities, so there are always a lot of students around. You'll also find plenty of bars and restaurants around the city, and although the nightlife cannot be compared to that of Amsterdam, you will definitely always find something to do. But like in many Dutch cities, Leiden is built on the water, and there are beautiful canals which I highly recommend you explore. The historic architecture in the city is what makes it a must for any tourist. Some buildings date back as far as the 17th century. With plenty of museums and art galleries, you can see why it's a perfect choice for travellers who want to avoid the larger cities, but who are still looking for many cultural activities. Number 10. Willemstad. Willemstad in Noord-Brabant has the charm of a storybook village with a small historic quaint harbour. The history of the area dates back to thousands of years ago. And now you will find yachts which are snugly parked side by side. For me, the highlight is a stately white windmill. The former flour mill is now a magnificent private residence. The surroundings of the town is definitely suited for those who love walking, or even hiking, as it doesn't get overly busy in the summer, because it's the perfect atmosphere to do lots of exploring. And there you have it, folks. That was the Netherlands. So if you are a fan of the arts, interested in different museums, and you really enjoy strolling along canals, then you really cannot beat the Netherlands. That's it from me. As always, be good, be kind, and be careful. Peace.
My heart is gold and my hands are cold.